Okay, good evening, everyone. At 6 p.m., we're going to call the meeting to order. We'll have a roll call. We'll start on the end. Oh, I'm sorry, we'll just go down. Keith Williams. Present. Jotel Telez.
Present.
Christopher McAllister.
Present.
Frederick Lohman.
Here.
Mark Bartles.
Here.
Christina, I'm not,
Budvar Hazy.
thank you very much.
Here, thank you. I know it's a big name.
Okay, we have a quorum. All right, our next order of business, we'd like to invite anyone forward for any public comments. Do we have anyone for public comments? No. Okay, no public comments, then we'll go right into our individual items. I'd like to make sure that everyone's had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, everyone's had a chance to make up. Do we have any discussion? I'd like to have a motion for discussion on the minutes.
Also move to make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Do we have any discussion on the minutes? If there's no discussion, then I'll have a motion that we will accept the minutes as written. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Fantastic. The minutes will be entered as written. All right. We have a discussion. Our next item is to take action regarding the security fence. Last time we did have some discussion, so I'd like to invite Chief forward to talk about the security fence.
Board, Chairman Daniels, thank you. If you turn to your packets, a picture of the Police Department Town Hall with the outline of the security fence. So as we discussed at our last meeting, it's been several years since we've been here, and the community in this area has grown up and things are starting to happen. So we did consider this, and this wasn't included in the original build of the Town Hall Police Station to have a security fence around it. It was removed, so we're back asking to have that to install this year. So we've got several bids, and as you can see, basically the security fence will go from the edge of the building, loop around, go to the drive where the gate will be installed, and then go all the way around the parking lot and meet up with the current fence that's installed on the back side of the building, so over there by the generator. So if you were standing out there, you see the generator fence, that's where the security gate would end. So it's a 6-foot wrought iron fence, decorative, like what's required by code, all around the building. So give us security. It'll put up a barrier between us and, the community in terms of, this is dedicated police parking for the police department. So some of the things we have going on these days is people walking up to the police cars, knocking on the windows where the guys are getting their stuff, gear ready, and we have commercial vendors parking back here. We have landscape guys who are doing the homes behind us, pull their trucks up right between the police cars and do gardening and stuff. So it's time to now designate this as a secure parking area. So I presented the 3 bids that we've gotten. We didn't choose the lowest, but we chose the most effective and cost-effective and realistic bid. So that's from House Wright Group. It came in at $34,997. So pretty good bid. We still have to do some electrical work, and the streets department or our community developer asked for some miscellaneous costs, things that we might not have included in the bid, mainly for the security walk-through gate, which will be on the walk-through next to the building. So there's a pedestrian access for employees and stuff. And that miscellaneous funding will try to be to put something other than a key or a code. It may use our access cards for secure entry through that gate. So they just don't know what that will cost. So they're working on that in the background. So tonight what we're asking for is a budget amendment to include the construction of the security fence at about $48,997. So if this was approved tonight, it would still have to go to council for approval. So this is a recommendation to council to make a budget amendment and approve this installation. So, yes, ma'am.
So I just have a question. In looking through the 3 bids, one of the bids was for a 3/4 inch rail and one is for 5/8. Do you have a specific design that you're after? And,
I think,
or are they making recommendations to you?
right, they're making, it is a recommendation, and it's mainly for the railing on the security fence that's rolling back and forth.
Okay,
So, yeah, so,
that's where we get, some of them are saying 2 rails and some of them are saying 3.
right,
Okay,
yeah. So there's an upper and a lower.
exactly.
Yep.
And have you worked with this house right before?
I have not, but the town has.
The town
Yeah,
has?
so, and I apologize, the Paul's not here tonight, so, but they will be working on this. Oh, Matt's here, thank you. I'm sorry. Matt Cox from that side of the house is here. He may be able to help answer some of these questions, if you don't mind, Matt. So,
Right,
So they're used to doing large and commercial. There are quite a few wrought iron companies. I mean, there's a
Right.
dozen. But to do the 6 foot and the commercial style, it's a little
Right.
bit different group. So we did vet. Paul, he did a great job. He probably came up with 10 vendors, and then he and I whittled them down to these 3, just looking at who they worked for, people that were happy with them, and that's why we kind of went with that middle one, because it seemed, by asking other people, they were happier, with that company overall.
I just wondered if you had worked with them before and you knew they were reputable and all that, so that's great. Sounds good.
I apologize, Matt, thank you so much for being here tonight. Matt will manage and oversee this project. I guess my role is mainly to help with the funding for it.
And I apologize, Matt is with which department?
He's with the community development.
Thank you.
Community Development Streets, he handles all the code enforcement on buildings and planning and zoning, perfect like that, so,
I have a question, Chief.
yes, sir.
Yeah, by the looks of the plans here, we have 2 gates. One is the vehicle gate and the other one is the walk-in?
Yes,
Walking
there's
gate?
a sidewalk that walks up to the side of the building, that would be a pedestrian gate.
And that'll be locked and have a code key and all that, as well as the vehicle gate.
The gate will have 3 different
Sensor.
access controls. It'll have a card key, an Opticon, which is a light on our police cars that we can
Okay.
activate that opens gates throughout the community. And then a physical fire key that the fire department can use. So there's multiple access, controls on how to open that gate. Then there's a manual release in case it doesn't work.
So the expense for the vehicles to have that
They already,
is in this?
no, they already have all that.
It's already part of the, okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
the light, there's a special light system on all emergency vehicles that is called Opticom, and it changes signal lights, it opens gates for communities or big facilities, like our park, Trophy Club Park has a security gate. That gate is equipped with an Opticom, so we don't have to wait to try to enter the code. We just turn on a light, it automatically opens the gate.
So there's no further expense
Not for that. no.
for the,
Yeah,
okay.
the only further expense of that little miscellaneous is to add the controlled access to the pedestrian gate. So the pedestrian gate will come with a key,
Keypad?
and then we can use our access codes if we try to add that.
Oh,
So, and they're looking into that now,
okay.
so,
All right, thank you.
Ask one more thing.
yes, ma'am.
What's the lighting like back there? Do you need extra lighting for this parking lot, or?
No, it's,
It's okay.
yeah, we have LED lights throughout the whole parking lot.
Oh, you do?
Yes,
Okay.
the only thing that may be added, and that's something that the streets department wanted to talk about, is an additional camera to focus just on that access area, and that's also included in that miscellaneous number.
Okay.
So we have cameras throughout the whole area anyway, just one to focus on the entrance. So
And who's doing electrical?
that's what they're working on now. They're trying to get a quote for that.
Okay.
There is it was designed for this purpose. We're just trying to figure out where did it end when it was cut out of the building.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Now, are there any other questions? I know our request tonight is just to move forward. What's the timeline?
Fairly quickly. I mean, Matt may be able to help. They are working to try to finalize all the bids, so I have to take it to council. It'll most probably go to council in March, which is, they only have one meeting in March, to get the funding approved through a purchase order, but fairly quickly after that. I think it's like a 3 or 4 week build. So we just have to go through the funding purposes.
it's 3 or 4 weeks to construct it?
to get it built, to come and install it. Yep.
Impressive.
Anything, Matt, you might want to add?
All businesses and companies, they're extremely busy right now. And so they won't lock down a time to start until we give them a green light. But Chief is correct. It's probably, once we give them a green light, it could be 2.5 to 3.5 weeks to start on that. And then touching back, one of y'all were asking about the walk-in gate. DAC is who we use for all of these card readers throughout the whole building. So it just takes them additional time to come look at where they're gonna get power and then how they're gonna connect in. But that's what we're wanting to do, just, like for the animal control, that he just be able, if he's got his hands full or something and needs to be able just to tap that and that gate will automatically open up so you can push through. So that's what we're looking at. We know what our top number is gonna be, and so that's what we've given the chief, so it'll be less than.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions for Chief? Or for Matt? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, with no more questions, then I call for a motion to approve the funding to install the fence in the amount of $48,997.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all approved?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, now our next item, I see Fire Chief is here, discussion and take action regarding our new AED unit for the police department. So Chief, both chiefs can come back up.
Chief Wise is here to help me tonight. The fire department manages our AED program. We have AEDs stationed throughout the city, throughout the town, within the police department, in the police cars, and of course the fire trucks and other certain vehicles. The ones we purchased with a grant 3 years ago have some issues, and the chief will explain that a little bit more, on why we need to replace them. And so what this request is just to replace the ones that the police department has. That's what we're asking for here.
Okay. Good evening, Board. The program that we have right now involves about 20 AED units altogether, and some of those are mixed, so we have 2 different brands. Think about it like that. And so what we're running into is that there is one brand that the batteries and the pads are expiring, and so they have expired, and we've gotten a letter to be able to continue using those. However, they're going to be rendered obsolete. They're not going to service them anymore, and we cannot purchase pads and batteries for those units. Okay, so that leaves us with just a few others of the Philips Heart Start units. So with supply chain issues and things like that, we can't get those units. And so what we want to do is we want to take the opportunity to go ahead and consolidate, and we want to upgrade that AED program, and we want to make it Philips Heart Start units. It's a biphasic defibrillator, and we want to go ahead and purchase those units so that way we can centralize the program, and it'll be all the same brand, the same model. And what it does is it gives us one set of pads with a battery. It's an 8-year warranty on the unit. It's a 4-year warranty on the battery, and everything will be the same. Does that make sense? It makes it very, very easy and more cost-effective for us to do that. Otherwise, if we try to go with a different brand, again, supply chain issues, the LifePak Express that we have now, if we were to purchase that model, it's up to 25 weeks on delivery. Heart Start, Philips, we can have ours in 3 weeks.
You said it's got a 4-year life on the batteries. Are those rechargeable batteries? Is that what it is?
No, sir. It's a one-time battery. That's it. They put it in the unit, and when it goes dead, we get another battery. But it can last up to 4 years, which is
How many usages?
It depends on how many times. That's a difficult question, right?
Okay.
And I just don't have that answer for you exactly. Right. I can't tell you that. So there are units that They do daily tests, weekly tests, and monthly tests on the unit. So we can look at those. It's a self-testing thing. We can see that, and if the charge starts to get to a certain point where it gets so low, then we'll go ahead and order a battery and stick it in there. The batteries itself are really, compared to the units and everything like that, it's fairly inexpensive. It was around $100 or so. And anyway, any other questions?
So this begins this is like a first level replacement where we start with the police that need 5, and then eventually you're going to replace them all with this Phillips. Is that the goal?
We're going to do that all at one time. So
Oh.
what we're asking is that,
We're going to do it now,
yes, ma'am.
and we're just paying for the police portion. Okay, I'm with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
and the town is, and the mud are contributing as well. So this whole thing is going to be revamped, revitalized, and we're all going to get on the same page with the same model, same units, and start fresh. All of those AEDs were purchased on a grant over 5 years ago, so it's time. And you know, with technology, it just kind of moves pretty quick, and things change. And so we were working towards moving with some of the same units, but they just don't service anymore, they don't sell them anymore, and we can't buy replacement parts for it anymore, the pads and batteries. And that's the most important part, in my opinion.
Okay, so just to confirm for Christine's question, so basically, everybody's getting replaced, but because we have the opportunity to do this here, we're gonna replace the 5.
Yes, for the police department. So
Okay.
it's a big purchase by the fire department. They manage the overall program, but since the police department has its 5, and actually CCPD was the first board or component to actually buy AEDs for anybody. It's one of our original items that we requested in the CCPD's plan. So we've had them ever since the board was created. So, and we got an enhancement when the grant for the fire department was issued 5 years ago. So that's how we got to 5.
I have a question, Chief, if you don't mind. Under the financial considerations here, it says the cost to replace the 5 units, it's $8,831.25. Now, what does the, go ahead.
Good. Well, actually, we have a correction to that. By the time I wrote this staff report, the chief was continuing to do his job, and he actually got a discount further. So the prices even come down from that number. So we're going to correct that here tonight.
Oh, you are, okay,
So,
great.
yes. So
Great.
thank you, but continue with your question. So
Okay, great. No, my question is, okay, the 5 units that we're talking about, what does one unit consist of? What is it all
Okay.
part of?
go ahead.
So you have the AED unit itself, you have a pair of pads, those are the sticky pads that you put on the patient's chest,
Okay,
okay, for adult or pediatric. The beauty of that is you can use them for both, right? It has a key so you can switch modes between adult and pediatric. It changes the energy level. It has a big red, bright, beautiful red carrying case, okay? It has a bag that's attached to that. It has what we call a pocket face mask. So if you wanted to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, you don't have to go mouth-to-mouth. You can do it through a pocket mask. There's a set of gloves. There's a set of trauma shears in there. So just a nice little kit that if something happens, you have all of that readily available. We currently have, in the building here, we have 2 cases. There's on the wall. There's one right out here, and there's one back there in the police department, right? So we don't have to purchase those anymore. We already have those, so we'll just take those other units out and put those in there for buildings and concession stands and stuff like that.
okay. How often do you have to replace those pads?
The pads are usually good for about 2 years or so. So that it's, again, it's a benefit. They can sit in that case in the wall for about 2 years, never be touched. They do self-testing. We come by frequently and look at them, but, you know, they could sit there for quite a while.
I haven't seen these, but the ones that I have seen were in the hospital, and they didn't stick on. They were holding them and doing them like this.
That's the paddle. That's old school right there.
Yeah.
That's, you see that a lot on TV, right? You'll see the doctor put them on their chest and they'll say clear.
All right,
Well, these are just sticky pads, about the size of your fist, and one here and one here. Everybody clear, and you
The
hit the
tech
button.
really increased dramatically.
Absolutely. And these things are automated, okay? That means the bystander can use them. Anybody in this room can use, you don't have to be a healthcare professional, you don't have to be a physician, anything like that. So that's the beauty of it. We can train the citizens, we train our staff, and then we can make a difference when we have that patient that goes down in sudden cardiac arrest.
So when you do use them, do you have to replace them
Yes, sir. The pads have to be replaced.
after you use them?
Yes, sir. And that's where we would come in with that. We would have an inventory at the fire station. So whenever, if the chief shows up on a cardiac arrest before us, he goes inside and he starts CPR and he puts the AED on somebody, and let's say that it defibrillates them, we would come in, take over care and everything like that, and then we would give him an extra set of pads to replace his unit.
Okay, so they are replaceable.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Absolutely.
Okay.
The unit itself is the most expensive thing. The pads and batteries, not so much.
Not so much. Okay. Thank you.
So,
You had an updated number?
yes, so the new updated number of the 5 units is $7,653.75. So he saved us almost, what, $1,200? So, good job, Chief.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, yeah, thanks.
My apologies. I didn't give him the updated quotas.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, do we have any more questions for either chief? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that information, then I'll call for a motion to approve the funding for the AED for $7,653.75. Make a motion to approve.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. The motion is approved. All right, do we have any items before we go to the future agenda? Do we have any items that we need to add for the next one? Chief, do we have anything that we need to add?
No, I think the next meeting we're going to try to have in the next 2 months, most probably the end of April. But we will start talking about budget at that time. So we'll bring forward some ideas for the budget, and at that time, and then in our May meeting, is when we'll start really diving into the budget. So, but we'll get a couple of good months of meetings in before we move forward on budget items. But I'll bring forward some stuff at that meeting.
Good deal.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, with that, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
All right, the meeting is adjourned at 6:22. Thank you, everybody.